direction. I can see the light of day. I got love as my connection. There's an angel showing me the way. Been reaching for love all my life. Now I know it was mine all the time. Finally I am headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. I got love as my protection. There's no need for me to be afraid. I spend so much time with my head in the clouds. Now that I've got my feet on the ground, I found that I am headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. I got faith and intuition telling me that I will be okay. Down the path that I walked, there's a light. They just dried all the tears from my eyes. Now I can see them headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. Now I found a pearl of wisdom. There's no need for me to be afraid. Headed in the right direction. I can see the light of day. I got love as my protection. There's no need for me to be afraid. Yeah. Thank you.
Aware all the time of what an amazing gift we have with these folks. Well, welcome to Jubilee Celebration. Today's theme is Seeking Vision. In the Christian tradition, today is also the first day of Advent. One of the things that I find especially compatible for how I've evolved in my faith and inspiring is that the Latin term Adventus does not point to the idea of marching forward to the birth of baby Jesus or anything like that. Instead, Adventus envisions the future coming toward us, the future breaking into the present at this time and leading us into a time of new beginning, a time of awakening again. I love this Henry David Thoreau quote, whose essence is, "The dawning of a new day is only available to those who are awake." So our invitation today, right now, at the beginning of today's celebration, is to become awake. And I'd like to invite you to join in a brief time of breathing that will connect us with each other. And the approach I'd suggest is, as you sit comfortably with your hands maybe on your lap in an open fashion, to envision on your in-breath that you're drawing the energy from way beneath your feet down in the heart of Mother Earth. And as you draw that up in your in-breath, you're bringing it through your ankles, your knees, hips, into your belly. And then with your out-breath, you're letting the energy roll up into your chest, through the crown of your head, and up into the infinite cosmos. So let's do that. And then on the next in-breath, you're drawing from the cosmos down into your body. So join me with that. Let's start with the energy beneath our feet on the in-breath. We're drawing in up toward our belly. And then the energy of the out-breath flows up through our chest, through the crown of our head, and reaches out and connects with the infinite love that is this cosmos. The next in-breath will draw from the cosmos back down into our body, flowing through us and flowing back down to Mother Earth. And at your own pace, just breathe a couple of times in that pattern. And here we are, Jubilee, awake, held in the arms of creating courageous love, suspended between the infinite cosmos and the loving arms of our Mother Earth. Let's stand and begin our celebration and turn, turn, turn.
Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to have, a time to be. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to fill up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather,
morning, everyone. Yona's not here today, so I'll be calling the directions. So I invite everyone to turn to the east. Winds of the east, spirits of the east, angels and allies and ancestors of the east. Archangel Raphael, and the energy of air. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we honor you, and we bless you. And we ask that you bless us. Quarter turn to the south. Winds of the south, spirits of the south, angels and allies and ancestors of the south. Archangel Michael and the element of air. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we honor you, and we bless you. And we ask that you bless us. A quarter turn to the west. Winds of the west, spirits of the west, angels and allies and ancestors of the west. Archangel Gabriel and the element of water. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we honor you, and we bless you. And we ask that you bless us. Quarter turn to the north. Winds of the north, spirits of the north, angels and allies and ancestors of the north. Archangel Uriel and the element of earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we honor you, and we bless you. And we ask that you bless us. Father, Son, Mother Moon, star nations. Archangel Metatron, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we honor you, and we bless you. And we ask that you bless us. Mother Earth and all your children. Archangel Sandalphon, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we honor you, and we bless you. And we ask that you bless us. Turn to the center. Divine One, God, Father, Mother, Creator of all that is now, ever has been, and ever shall be. Thank you for making us Jubilee community, of bringing us together every Sunday, of bringing our hearts together all the time, so that we're joined together in love and light and caring for one another. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, we honor you, and we bless you. And we ask that you bless us. And so it is.
Thank you, Michelle. Well, we have been awakened, and now we have been directed, and now we will sing and live as one as we feed the hungry. Let's do it.
I don't know why today feels so much harder than any other I survived. I don't know if we ever had the answer, or if we've just been lost trying to get by. Trying to get by. I don't know why today feels so much longer than any other in a while. Are we gonna be friends? Are we gonna be strangers? Just keeping our place at the back of the line. All that I wanted to say, all that I wanted to say. To say, we gotta live as one, live as one, be as one, live as one. All that I wanted to say, we gotta live as one, day feels so much brighter than any other in my life. When we stand alone or when we stand together, find a truth that we can all identify. All that I wanted to say, all that I wanted to say, all that I wanted to say. We gotta live as one, live as one, love as one, live as one. All that I wanted to say, we gotta live as one. Yeah, we do. If not now, when?
So good morning again. Now it's time for Jubilee in action, and I'd like to invite everybody up that has an announcement to make, please.
Good morning, Jubilee. Many of you probably know Greg Walker. He's a part of our Care and Compassion team. Last Monday, he underwent a major cervical spine surgery. He had fusion done and in Kentucky. And he called me on Wednesday and wanted me to relay a message to everyone here that the surgery was successful, a lot of pain, and he will be in the hospital for the next 2 weeks undergoing rehab, and thereafter he will be staying with family members in Dublin, Kentucky, until after the first of the year. So he just wanted to let you know that he's thinking of everybody, but he's doing well. If you have any interest in sending him any cards, I can give you the information as to where you would send a card to him. Thank you.
Good morning. Book group, new book, The Serviceberry. As you can see, it's little. It's not going to take long to read, so we're going to do it in 2 weeks. Carol Greenspan has graciously offered her home for a meeting place Monday at, we're going to try at 2 instead of 3. Hope that works for you. Let me know. I didn't get it into the bulletin, sorry.
Hi. As a lot of you know, I'm trying to put together a memory book for Stephanie leaving, and I have paper and little notes of whether, you can do a picture, you can write a little thank you, you can do a quote, you can just say happy trails, whatever. But see me if you want to have paper and information, and I will hand it out to you. Thanks.
Hi, y'all. Just a quickie. Y'all have been so sweet to me, helping me with getting money and support, like emotional support, getting my studio back together after the flood. And a recent flash sale of those wall women a couple weeks ago raised $300, and it's going to go towards the operating of Jubilee. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Last weekend, I don't know if you were here for our Thanksgiving dinner, but it was a fabulous turnout. It was a great time. We all sat down and ate together, and I really appreciate y'all pitching in, and it was just a total success. So we'll do it again at some point in the future, probably Thanksgiving. Or other holidays. There are other holidays. And speaking of holidays, Christmas is coming up. We normally do, typically over the last several years, we've done the Lazoom bus where we go around and carol. We're not going to do that this year. I know it's so much fun, but it's also a lot to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go caroling. Now, I don't have a date yet, but what we want to do is get a bunch of jubilants together. We will carol at Vanderbilt Apartments,
Apartments and at Battery Park Apartments. But there are several of the annual gingerbread houses that are not at the Grove Park Inn, but they're at different locations around town. So we'll kind of do a gingerbread house stroll as we sing and hopefully eat together afterwards. So keep an eye out on your bulletin for the date, and we will see you there.
Okay, so one other announcement, and that is that we're looking for jubilants to help provide the vision for future Sunday celebrations. Starting the first Sunday in January, we're entering into a time of being community-led. And being community-led means that you're all part of that leadership team. It means that we're all working together to create Sunday celebrations, to create community for each other. An important part of this is your participation. And there are 2 easy ways to give input in the next couple of weeks. So there is a quick online survey. A link to it went out in the Sunday Bulletin today. It will also be an e-blast that goes out today about it, and it's right on the homepage of the newsletter. So please take a couple minutes to fill that out and let us know what you think about the format, speakers you might like to hear, songs you might like us to sing, things like that. Any general input you have, it would be greatly appreciated. And then on December 8th, we are going to have a focus groups, and they're going to be led by Rose Bader, who did such a lovely job leading the community meeting a few weeks ago. And we'll be asking similar questions and getting a little deeper into things. So we hope that you will save the date for that focus group. It'll be right after it'll be about noontime. So a quick bite at the coffee hour and then come back here for the focus group. And that is it for Jubilee in Action. And I wanted to tell you that we don't have any gifts today. We had some planned, but there were several mishaps that the givers of the gifts couldn't be here. We'll be planning those same gifts at another date, but not this time. So next up is the lighting of the Advent candle with Portia and Lynn Orndorff.
Good morning. Hope is our first candle. This candle reminds us of the light of hope in the stillness of our sacred space. We light this candle, watching it burn and glow.
And we're off. The Advent season has begun. Thank you, Portia. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, community. Community is a verb. It is. And Jubilee, you were a verb too. Now is when we pray. And of course, John David leading the way here, we do pray, of course, by ringing bowls and bells. We also pray just by being present with one another, by emailing prayers@jubileecommunity.org, by thinking about those who are hungry, by those people who are not yet with us and one day will be, by imagining what it is that we want for ourselves and our community that is reimagining itself. We are in cocoon time. So I invite you to breathe and pray as we enter this time of vision, of hope, of light. Let's pray together. Let this stillness be a prayer for all that cannot yet be spoken. Let your breath be a prayer for all the lives yet to be and all the lives we honor. Let your presence right here, right now, be a prayer as a testament to the transformative power of community. I invite you to take a hand. Let's see, where am I going to park? All right. I don't want to cause anybody to stretch too much here. I think the first time my young eyes really ever glimpsed what community looks like was late 80s, my first World AIDS Day in the Capitol, because today is World AIDS Day, when the quilt was unraveled on the National Mall. And I still was not at terms with who I was, but I think that was maybe a first step. And I saw all the tears, but I also saw in those panels joining and all of the people moving reverently between them a fierce hope, just like threads, living threads joining them with love. And I believe that is the healing and transformative power of community right now. There is a hymn goes, weave us together in wholeness and love. And I believe right now it is our work in this tumultuous time to not only be weavers, but also to find our fringes. Where have we been torn? And honor that sacredness. Honor it. And allow for the healing to come. Allow it. Jubilants, you are a brave, beautiful people. And I trust that you are always going to continue to redefine and perfect that beautiful verb we call community. Give those holy hands a squeeze. And after we sing, let's share God's love with one another.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Let's share God's love with one another.
just call me brother when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call me. What are you gonna do? Call me. Come on now, call me. Sally, you better call me. Write it down. Call me.
Seems that we can never get enough of that hugs. So that's great. And I forgot earlier to say a welcome as well to our folks who are joining us online. And again, I'm just always so grateful for an amazing team of you who get here at like 8:30 in the morning on Sundays and get everything set up. So thank you, all of you who do that really critical work for us. Hear these sacred words. Thank you. We have dinged. According to the Tao Te Ching, the wisdom for navigating not knowing lies in embracing the concept of wu wei, which means non-action, or letting go of the need for absolute understanding and trusting the natural flow of the Tao, essentially allowing ourselves to be guided by the inherent order of the universe without forceful intervention, allowing for a more receptive and open state of mind when faced with uncertainty. And a reading from the 12th chapter of Genesis. And the beloved said to Avram and Sarai, whom we in our anglicized version called Abram and Sarah, go to yourself, leave your homeland, your birthplace, your parents' house, and go to the land that I will show you. And Avram was 75 years old when they set out. And from Estelle Frankel, I've learned that it's better to be patient and allow what is being revealed to make itself fully known. And even after something is revealed, I know that it's always provisional and that things can change on a dime. Truth is most often a moment-by-moment revelation, not something that can be permanently fixed with certainty. This notion lies at the heart of the Jewish understanding of divinity as an unfolding process, a verb rather than a noun. And this from Antonio Machado. Wanderer, your footsteps are the path, nothing else. Wanderer, there is no path. The path is made by walking. This is ancient wisdom and holy word. Thanks be to all that is wise and holy. All creation is wisdom and holy word. All creation sings of the wisdom of God. Hallelujah. Today's theme is seeking vision. From the first time I read that title, the question popped up for me, well, can we seek vision? I mean, especially if you're talking about those kinds of dramatic, ta-da visions where there is a powerful divine or spiritual intervention that makes that a pivot point, radically shifting our lives. Visions of that type are pretty common, aren't they, in the story of the starts of religious and spiritual movements. The Buddha is said to have had a vision under the Bodhi tree. This Genesis passage we just read, Avram and Sarai had a life-changing vision. And you know, the Noah story from the Hebrew scriptures, when the Holy One approaches this guy named Noah and says, hey, Noah, I want you to build a boat. I mean, a really, really big boat. And Noah says, hey, I'm here in the mountains. And the Holy One says, yeah, I know it doesn't usually flood in Asheville, but I still want you to build a boat. Look at what you and your people have done. Look at the mess that you've made of this stuff. With all the fighting and hating and abusing and dividing, we need a reset, a fresh start. Muhammad was said to have had a vision. One night, the angel Gabriel showed up and took him that evening from Mecca to Jerusalem. Along the way, they stopped and visited with God. They got a glimpse of heaven and hell, and that was a starting point of his prophetic ministry. We know the familiar and seasonally relevant story of Mary, little teenage Mary. And the angel Gabriel shows up to her. And all of us have learned by now that anytime an angel pops up in front of you and says, hey, this is your lucky day, but don't be afraid that something's going to change. But I wonder, were any of these folks actually seeking vision? I wonder, is it the rule of things that Spirit doesn't waste vision on people who are not ready, but somehow he looked at these folks in that list and others who have received vision and said, these are folks who are already awake or who are at least open to being awakened, or are the guidelines somewhat different, like Debbie Thomas wrote, that Spirit's love nature is such that she comes looking for us when our lostness is so convoluted and so profound that we can't even pretend to be open to her, let alone to be seeking vision. Even in such bleak and hopeless places, Spirit reaches out to us with a vision. Well, regardless of what those guidelines are, several things were in common for these folks and their visions. One, the vision just obviously led to major disruption. After that, nothing was the same. And the purpose of their visions was never for their own comfort or pleasure. I mean, you never hear of an angel Gabriel showing up and saying, hey, you have won a beach vacation, or you're going to get a private jet or a jet ski. I mean, it doesn't happen. Think of the Buddha. The Buddha was the son of a wealthy prince. He was in line for a lifetime of wealth and privilege and comfort. And his vision led him on a very different path, didn't it? And the story of Avram and Sarai, as this Genesis 12 mentioned, Avram was 75 years old already, and they were childless when this vision came to them and said, hey, I want you to pack up, leave your family, and we're going to go on a trip, and I'll show you where we're going as we go. And he didn't know that they were going to eventually have children. Their children and their grandchildren were going to wind up fighting each other, even killing each other. And that their people, their descendants, would spend hundreds of years in slavery in a foreign land, and then decades wandering in the desert. All of this against the backdrop that they were going to be a special people, that they were going to be a people who were blessed and would be a blessing for themselves and for the world. Their visions for all of these always led them into serving a cause bigger than themselves. And I know we've talked a lot here in Jubilee, haven't we, about, well, Jubilee really doesn't belong to us. Jubilee doesn't exist for our spiritual entertainment or stimulation. It's not just about us. You know, I'm a diehard optimist. And sometimes my optimism can look a whole lot like denial. But I was thinking, Jubilee, what's it going to take? What's it going to take for us to finally recognize and to accept that things are never going to be normal again? I mean, think about what we have experienced. Those of us who've been around Jubilee for a little while, we've experienced Jubilee in a time of Howard's thriving and wonderful ministry, a time of Jubilee in Howard's retirement, a time when a new minister came. We were all excited, but that was very short term. A Jubilee in a time of pandemic and figuring out what the heck is Zoom and how could that be a medium for our gathering. A time of staff losses, a time of negative cash flow, and a relocation to this wonderful rainbow space, a time of interim ministries. We've known Jubilee in a time of hurricane, and now, as of recently, another carefully, prayerfully chosen minister whose calling is taking her away from us. What will it take to really accept that things are not normal anymore? But before we get depressed about that, I want to invite you to widen your zoom out and now look at that little picture of Jubilee as one part of a much bigger pattern, a fractal of similar patterns in a destabilized world with rampant uncertainty and fear and a lot of desperate and sometimes irresponsible choices in our trying to find solutions. And when I look at our bigger world, I'd say, man, it's like a Noah time again. We seriously need a reset. Because in this broader world, what we have come to experience is and accept as normal is taking us all off of a cliff. The normal that our world has surrendered and sworn allegiance to includes stuff like what little Greta Thunberg said, the fairy tale of endless economic growth, the beliefs and attitudes and systems that extract and exploit from people and from the environment. We have endorsed individualism and greed and domination and war and violence. And so what that has left us with is a crippling sense of scarcity and fear-fueled political and social division. And we call that normal. And I keep thinking of that quote that I shared before from Krishnamurti that says, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." Let me read that again. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. What if a vision for Jubilee were to lead us into becoming a living 7 days a week challenge and alternative to that profound and terminal sickness. A bit of color commentary, so to speak, on this question comes from a little booklet by Rabbi Rami on the 23rd Psalm. You're familiar with the 23rd Psalm. That's the one, the Lord is my shepherd. You've heard it at funerals a lot of time, and it's so interesting that it provides comfort because when we are around the valley of the shadow of death, when things are falling apart. So the Lord is my shepherd. The word that's translated Lord is not Adonai, the Hebrew word that normally would be translated as Lord. Instead, the shepherd, the one who is the shepherd, instead of Lord, just uses those 4 Hebrew characters, YHWH. So this is the shepherd. This shepherd is the one whose name dare not be spoken. It is the one who appeared as fire in a bush to Moses. And when Moses heard a voice come out of this bush that was on fire but not burning up and being consumed, Moses looked over at the bush and said, "You talking to me? You talking to me? Who are you?" And the voice that answered out of the bush said, "I am." That's who's talking to you. I am. Isness is talking to you. Beingness is talking to you. So this shepherd who offers us vision and guidance is the source and essence of all being. And this source is not subject to or bothered by cultural and political and social norms and niceties. And this divine shepherd is not about our safety and comfort, but instead is leading us on a path of freedom and justice and compassion. Rabbi Rami says that freedom is ultimate blessing. Freedom from whatever confines, limits, and destroys. So what if Jubilee's vision includes an invitation to freedom from and freedom to? Freedom from that profoundly sick society and system, and freedom to remember, to rediscover together community, a life-giving way of being for our sake and for the world. If we were to follow this vision and this kind of shepherd, there are some obvious implications. One is this shepherd would not be leading us on familiar and well-worn paths. This shepherd would be leading us on paths that we would make by walking them. One of my favorite gurus is my daughter, Susan. She told me the story, and I've shared with some of you that 20 plus years ago, she and some friends were hiking in Yosemite. Small group of them, they were taking turns leading on the trail, and Susan happened to be leading at that point. They were coming up over a crest on the trail, and as they got over right up onto the top, all of a sudden, the stinking trail totally ceased to exist. There was nothing but boulders. And she said, "Oh my God, I'm supposed to be leading this group, and I don't know where we're going." But the thought occurred to her that if I keep walking, the trail will make itself known. And she had enough maturity to recognize that that was an insight about a lot more than just that day's hike. And if we were to follow this kind of a vision, in our conversations about Jubilee's future, both our informal conversations and the one we're scheduled to have, I think it's next Sunday, isn't it, Susie? In those conversations, we would have to stare in the face our impulse to try desperately to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, and to ask if we might be open to the possibility of envisioning, co-creating some sort of a beautiful mosaic with the pieces from a broken Humpty Dumpty. So here we are, Jubilee. We're in yet another liminal space. Liminal space is who we are, I think. It's like the tectonic plates of who we have been are crashing up the tectonic plates of who we might be called to be. And it occurred to me that isn't a lot of life, even our relationships and our institutions, really more like a bridge? And it's hard for us to know how to use bridges because we want to build houses on them. We want to build skyscrapers on them, keeping adding another story and another story. And we've forgotten that we're building on a bridge. And a bridge is a structure that's designed and intended to help us to get from one place to another, to guide us, to make it possible for us to stay on our journey of opening our eyes to the cosmic reality that we are one with each other, we're one with all that is. Okay, so today is December 1st, new moon today. And we are 1 month away from the first day of a new year. Both of those are times when some of us practice writing down intentions. And I wonder if our invitation today in Jubilee, as we think about seeking vision, is not so much to focus on what we intend to do, but to answer the questions. How open are we to a new vision? A new vision of co-creating a path we might not have chosen? And what attitudes and practices might we choose in order to cultivate that kind of openness? So I'll close with the final verse of Psalm 23 as rendered by Rabbi Rami. I will walk with fierce and freeing trust the pathless land to which you summon me. May it be so. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and now let's get our bowls going as we offer our support for this beautiful life of this unfolding Jubilee community.
Now is the time when I let go of my fears, inhibitions, and sense of dread. When I give up control and I let you hold me with no resistance in my soul. Now is the time when I let go of my fears, inhibitions, and sense of dread. When I give up control and I let you hold me with no resistance in my soul.
Thank you, Worldbeat Band. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for that invitation to walk with vision in the pathless land. So let's do that bravely. Jubilants, I invite you to stand. Let's sing ourselves out into the week. We've got some love in our heart. Let's put some love in the hearts around us in this community. Let's sing.
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's scary.